A man claims he brought the body of a dead alien home after finding it near a crashed UFO. A strange frozen creature is discovered in the snowy wilderness of Siberia. A mysterious humanoid figure is spotted lurking near a man's property. And that's just the beginning. These are bizarre beings that some people believe were not from Earth, all allegedly captured on camera.
Well, before any of this happened, I knew very little about it. The phenomena of ufology, or lights in the sky, or flying saucers.
In October 1996, a man named Jonathan Reed, who identified himself as a psychologist, was walking his golden retriever near Seattle, Washington. He was making his way toward a wooded area on the outskirts of the city when something unusual happened. His dog suddenly became fixated on something among the trees and sprinted into the forest. Reed chased after it. According to his account, he arrived at a clearing and saw his dog barking at and attacking a small humanoid figure roughly the size of a 12-year-old child. Reed described the being as wearing a smooth black suit with no visible seams. He also claimed its movements appeared strange, almost as if it were vibrating. Reed said the creature suddenly attacked his dog and killed it. He claimed that after the animal died, its remains turned into white ash. The figure then focused its attention on him. In response, Reed grabbed a large branch and struck the being in the head as hard as he could. According to him, the creature collapsed and stopped moving. Moments later, Reed reported hearing a faint humming noise nearby. Curious, he followed the sound farther into the woods and discovered a dark object hovering just above the ground. He happened to have a camera with him and took several photographs. Reed said that after he approached the object, the humming abruptly stopped and the area became completely quiet. He then returned to the spot where the creature lay. Deciding to take it with him, he wrapped the body and transported it home, placing it in his freezer. The following day, he recorded footage of the creature inside his house and even filmed himself examining it. Those videos later became well known within UFO and alien communities. Not long afterward, Reed claimed he began noticing white vans parked outside his home and people seemingly watching him. According to his story, he later returned home one day and found signs that someone had searched the house and removed the alien body. He also alleged that he was followed, threatened, and even shot at, which led him to stay quiet for several years. When he eventually shared his story publicly, he appeared on UFO radio programs, attended conferences, and released photos and video footage connected to the incident. Naturally, many people found the story difficult to believe. Critics pointed to inconsistencies in his account and noted the lack of physical evidence that could be independently examined. Still, Reed has never changed his version of events and continues to stand by his claims. In April 2011, a video from Russia began spreading rapidly online after it appeared to show the body of a dead extraterrestrial lying in the snow. The footage was reportedly filmed by two men who said they came across the strange object while walking through a wooded area. Resting beside a tree stump was what looked like a small humanoid body. It appeared to have a large head, thin arms and legs, dark eyes, and what looked like a missing section of one leg. One of the men in the video stated, "We found him around 2 hours ago. Must have been lying here for days." According to the story attached to the footage, a dog had supposedly led them to the body. Around the same time, there were also reports of unusual lights and objects in the sky near the area. Michael Cohen of All News Web wrote that witnesses had allegedly seen a UFO crash that was supposedly deliberately kept from public view. He also questioned whether the figure in the video could have been a survivor of that crash that later died in the harsh Russian environment. Within a matter of days, millions of people had viewed the footage. Some believed they were looking at genuine proof of extraterrestrial life. Others dismissed it as a complete fabrication. In the years that followed, the official explanation was that the entire incident had been staged. Even so, some people continue to wonder whether there might have been more to the story. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. On December 1st, 1987, a retired police officer named Philip Spencer set out for a morning walk across Ilkley Moor in West Yorkshire, England. He carried a camera and a compass with him, partly because thick fog was common in the area. While walking across the moor, Spencer noticed a figure standing ahead of him. At first, he couldn't make out exactly what it was. As he got closer, he described seeing a creature around 4 feet tall, with dark green skin, a large head, and long, slender arms. According to Spencer, the figure raised one arm in a gesture that seemed to tell him not to come any closer. Rather than retreat, Spencer took out his camera and snapped a photograph. That image would later become the center of the story. A blurry figure standing alone in the fog-covered moorland, leaving people to debate what exactly had been captured that day. Spencer said the creature suddenly took off running, and he followed after it. As he chased it across the moor, he claimed the figure disappeared from view. Then, according to Spencer, he noticed a strange craft rising from the ground. He described it as a whitish object made up of 2 saucer-shaped sections joined together, one positioned above the other. He also recalled hearing a loud humming noise as the object lifted into the air before vanishing. Afterward, he found himself walking in a different direction than intended, and soon realized something about the timeline didn't make sense. He believed nearly 2 hours had passed without explanation. Even the compass he had brought for navigation appeared to be malfunctioning, pointing in the wrong direction. Not long after the incident, Spencer contacted UFO investigators Jenny Randles and Peter Ho, and the photograph quickly began circulating among researchers. Several specialists examined the image. One wildlife photographer stated that it didn't resemble any known animal. Staff at Kodak reportedly found no signs that the photograph had been altered. Other analysts were far more cautious. Among them was U.S. Navy optics expert Bruce Maccabee, who argued that the image quality was too poor to support any solid conclusions. Then the story became even stranger. On March 16, 1988, Spencer underwent regressive hypnotherapy. During the session, his account expanded dramatically. Instead of simply seeing the creature, he described being unable to move, lifted from the ground, and taken aboard a craft. He claimed a voice told him not to be afraid. Once inside, he said he encountered green beings performing medical examinations, including placing objects into his nose and mouth. After recalling these supposed memories, Spencer began viewing the event differently. He wondered if the creature had not been warning him away at all. Perhaps, he suggested, it had actually been waving goodbye after he had been returned to the moor. Around 2011, a YouTube channel known as Ivan0135 uploaded several short videos without any explanation. The clips showed a gray humanoid figure with a large head and dark eyes, the classic appearance often associated with gray aliens. In one video, the figure appears seated at a table inside what looks like a control room. In another, it stands and makes small movements, turning its head and slightly shifting its body. The footage is black and white and extremely grainy, resembling old or damaged tape recordings. To this day, nobody has been able to verify where the videos originated or who created them. Numerous technical analyses have focused on the grain structure, noise patterns, and compression artifacts. Some researchers argue the grain resembles genuine camera noise rather than an effect added afterward. Whether authentic or fabricated, the footage remains unsettling. What do you think? In 2022, a man named Harry Hayes was jogging through Sydney, Australia, after several days of heavy rainfall had caused flooding in parts of the city. During his run, he noticed a strange object lying on the road. It appeared small, fleshy, and somewhat embryo-like. Curious, he took out his phone and began recording. While discussing what it might be, he suggested it resembled some sort of embryo, but joked that, given everything happening in the world at the time, from wars to the pandemic, He wouldn't be shocked if it turned out to be a mutant creature or even an alien. He later posted the video on Instagram, where it quickly gained attention and sparked countless theories. Some viewers suggested it was a shark embryo carried inland by floodwaters. Others thought it might be a deformed tadpole. Many jumped straight to the alien explanation. Even biologists struggled to identify it. Zoologist Ellie Elisa shared the image and wrote, "Hey world, what is this thing? I thought possible glider possum embryo, but I have no context or scale, and none of my peers can agree. What is this? Hashtag mystery blob." This next case is considered one of the most famous alleged alien creature videos on the internet. The footage was recorded in Denver, Colorado in 2003 by a man named Stan Roman. According to Roman, he began noticing something unusual outside his house at night. Something or someone seemed to be approaching his window and looking inside. Believing it might be a prankster or potential trespasser, he set up a camera facing the window in hopes of catching the culprit. What the camera recorded was a pale, humanoid figure peering inside. The figure slowly rises into view, remains visible for a moment, then drops away before reappearing several times. The footage was publicly presented in 2008 during an event organized by UFO researcher Jeff Peckman, where it was introduced as possible evidence. From there, it spread online and was examined frame by viewers and researchers alike. Roman has maintained that the footage is genuine and represents only one of many strange incidents he experienced around his property in Dubina, a rural area of Fayette County, Texas. For years, Michael DeMel has used trail cameras across his property to monitor wildlife activity at night. The cameras regularly capture animals such as coyotes, bobcats, and raccoons. After checking the images daily for more than a decade, he became very familiar with what normally appears in them. Then one night, a photograph showed something he couldn't explain. Michael initially thought it might be a monkey, which would already be an unusual sight in rural Texas. The image is blurry, but there is clearly a figure crouched near the ground. It appears roughly the size of a medium-sized dog, yet its proportions seem unusual. The limbs look extremely thin, and it doesn't appear to have fur. He shared the image with friends, and once it began circulating online, theories started pouring in. Some people suggested it could be a chupacabra, an alien, or even a skinwalker. Michael later said, "In the 10 years I've been reviewing my cameras, I've never encountered anything like it." Uploaded in 2011 by a YouTube channel called Hola Bible, this clip was reportedly filmed by a man living in Oregon who claimed he began hearing strange sounds coming from the forest behind his home. He explained that he lived in a fairly remote area, roughly 6 miles from the nearest city, making the noises particularly unusual. Curious about the source, he grabbed a night vision camera and headed into the woods. At first, the footage shows little more than darkness, trees, and brush. As he moves farther into the forest, he eventually spots whatever has been making the noise. Hidden among the vegetation is a pale, hairless-looking figure crouched low to the ground. It doesn't move like any animal one would normally expect to find in the area, and its overall shape is difficult to identify from the footage. The cameraman zooms in for a better look, trying to determine exactly what he's seeing. The camera shakes slightly as he focuses on the figure. It remains motionless for a moment before reacting from within the brush. Pretty unsettling footage. But what exactly is it? An alien? A rake? A person with reflective eyes? Or simply an elaborate hoax? Let me know what you think in the comments below. In the past few hours, the skies over Norwich, England have turned into the setting for a series of strange reports. People across the city and nearby countryside have described seeing several silent, triangular drones moving through the night sky. Their lights were said to blink in coordinated patterns. Witnesses described them as large, structured objects with no sound, hovering for long stretches before quickly moving out of view. A photo shared in the Facebook group UFO Sightings UK sparked wider discussion. It was taken by a woman named Mary while she was out walking her dog near Norwich. The image showed what looked like a large object hanging still in the sky. The sunset filled the clouds with deep purples and warm gold tones. At the center of the frame, a bright craft-like shape appeared, lined with strong lights and floating above distant hills. The object looked solid, metallic, and sharply outlined against the fading light, hard to dismiss as a simple visual mistake. Mary said she was walking along a quiet country road when she noticed a strong blue-white glow above the horizon. At first, she thought it was an aircraft or maybe a helicopter, but the light grew brighter and stayed steady without any sound. When she paused to take a closer look using her phone camera, she saw a triangular shape with a bright central light and smaller lights underneath. That photo spread quickly online and drew attention from independent researchers following similar sightings in the area. Before this event, northern Norfolk and Norwich had already seen a rise in unusual drone reports. Locals described large, silent objects, often triangular or diamond-shaped, staying over farmland and rural zones for long periods. Some sightings were serious enough to cause temporary airport disruptions after unknown aerial objects appeared near flight routes. No government body or private group has stepped forward to explain these drones. Their behavior, long flight times, and unusual movement patterns have led to questions about whether this is ordinary technology at all. Mary's image stood out because of its timing and detail. On the same evening she took the photo, multiple people across East Anglia reported low-flying triangular shapes moving silently across the sky. Some witnesses also mentioned fast jets flying higher up, as if tracking or following the objects below. People who saw the triangular craft described them as very large, smooth in shape, and able to turn sharply without any sound or visible engine. Some reports claimed they stayed in place for hours before suddenly rising straight up into the clouds. What made the situation more unusual was where these objects were spotted. Over the year, similar reports came from areas near military bases and even close to nuclear storage sites. These locations are usually tightly controlled, watched by radar and security systems. Even so, the objects seemed to avoid detection until they were seen directly by eye. Local researchers say some of these craft could stay in the air for hours, far longer than standard drone batteries would allow. They also describe coordinated movement, including formation flying and close tracking of passenger planes. The UK Civil Aviation Authority and the Ministry of Defence have not made any public statement about the reports. That lack of response has only increased public speculation. Some believe these objects may be advanced surveillance craft operated by a secret branch of the military. Others argue that their movement style, lighting, and silence do not match any known aircraft. Mary's photo, with its clear lighting pattern and symmetry, has been used to support the idea that something physical was captured in the sky over Norfolk. The lights under the object appear evenly spaced, forming a clear geometric line. A bright central glow stands out, while the surrounding lights have a cooler tone. The surface also looks metallic, reflecting the warm colors of the sunset. Many viewers have ruled out simple explanations like lens flare, reflection, or camera errors. Edited versions of the image reveal sharper edges and faint blue tones across the structure, which some interpret as energy activity or a propulsion system. The symmetry has led some analysts to believe the object is not a visual error. Researchers are also looking at similar reports across the UK and parts of Europe. Triangular silent objects have been reported near air bases in Scotland, as well as over Belgium and northern France. In each case, they are described as large, slow-moving, glowing craft with no visible wings, propellers, or exhaust. Their ability to hold steady in strong winds and then accelerate quickly when followed has raised questions among aviation experts. As of now, the earlier airport-related incident in Copenhagen is still unresolved.